Hello and welcome back in this very awesome and very cool video. There was a discussion lately on the Snapchat group about some BMW engines like a replacement for the legendary 2JZ engine, like modern replacement for it, because as we all know, the 2JZ engine is a one-time life shot made by Toyota, and every tuner dream to own that engine and to tune it and make thousands and thousands horsepower out of it, and or even run it normally daily driving Supra or whatever car has that 2JZ in it. But there was a discussion about a modern replacement for that engine, and a lot of cool fans suggested this BMW, the N55B30 inline 6 engine. Well, I've looked into it, and a lot of the cool fans on the group said a lot of good things about this engine, and some bad things about it. And I've searched the internet, and I found out like nearly all of the specs, and then I requested some help from the group, and they provided me with the rest of the specs for this engine. So before we start making this masterpiece, because I really like this engine so much, and I hope that you like it too after the end of this video. Before we start with all of the specs, I would love to remind you guys that if you enjoy the video, to hit that like button, to get subscribed if you are new to the channel, and of course to share the video if you want to share it. And alright, so that's it pretty much. Let's get going. So this is actually a very good engine, very reliable, very good engine. Direct fuel injection reliability, power, torque, fuel efficiency, every possible thing you want in an inline 6 is there. And it's actually favorable by a lot of BMW tuners. I mean, I've seen some videos on YouTube that some tuners got this engine to produce like 600 horsepower, 500 horsepower, with too much boost and with a lot of aftermarket parts. But you get the point. This engine is getting popular, and if you want to know what this engine was installed in, it says here, I'm reading from mywikimotors.com. It says here it was installed in the BMW 135i, the E82, the E88, the BMW the M135i, the BMW M235i, the 335i, the E90, E91, E92, and E93, and the 640i, 535i. So you get the point. The 740i, X1, X3, X4, X5, X5, F15, X6, E71, and the XX S6. What do you call it? The F16 version, and the BMW the 335 GT and the 535 GT. So you see here BMW used it in a lot of their cars, and it says here max horsepower it can reach on the stock parts with good tuning. It can go all the way to 400 horsepower, and well, there is no limit to how much horsepower it can go with aftermarket parts. Let's see, this engine run on 5W30, 5W40 oil. It's turbocharged, and I will tell you about the turbocharger later because it's very modern and very amazing. And there are a lot of versions, a lot of power versions for this engine. It goes from 306 horsepower all the way to 340 horsepower, maybe more, but that's the limit here on mywikimotors.com. Alright, so let's start with the specs. We have an inline 6 engine, aluminium block. Yes, my friends, aluminium block instead of the cast iron 2JZ block, which was really heavy. So we have aluminium block, 84mm on the bore, 89.6mm on the stroke, which equals 2,979 cc engine. So you see the point. It's still a 3-liter engine like the 2JZ, but the difference here is we have smaller bore and bigger stroke, unlike the 2JZ engine, which uses 86mm on the bore and 86mm on the stroke. So the 2JZ is a little bit more balanced when it comes to capacity, and but yes, this one is also a 3-liter engine, and more stroke means more torque, and torquey engines, especially in daily driving engines, well, it's a pretty good thing. And it's really awesome. And less bore means lighter engine, more compact engine, and of course more usable engine in a lot of cars, like we saw on my wiki on my wikimotors.com. The BMW used it in SUVs, small hatchbacks, sedans, basically everything. So this engine uses dual overhead camshaft with 4 valves per cylinder, aluminum cylinder head, variable valve lift. Yes, this engine uses variable valve lift technology. And well, I asked for help for the internal materials. I'm not really sure if these are real or not, or they are correct or not. I genuinely don't know. I've searched Wikipedia, my Wikimotors, and a lot of even German websites, like German BMW enthusiast website, and no, I don't speak German, but yeah, I've searched. Maybe I could understand something or not, but no one mentioned anything about the internals. So I asked for help on the Snapchat group, and they mentioned, well, no one knows that. So I went with forged steel crankshaft. I presume that it uses forged steel crankshaft, heavy duty forged connecting rods, and of course forged pistons. Zero quality here. We have the official compression ratio for this engine is 10.2 to 1. The cam profile is 42, and the variable valve lift profile is 69, with variable valve timing on all cams, or as BMW calls it, dual vanos, or twin vanos, or whatever vanos. I think dual, twin, so you get the point. +3 quality on the camshafts and everything related to them. We have a single turbocharger, ball bearing internals. We have a 628 horsepower supporting intercooler with a custom turbocharger aimed for low-end torque and high-end horsepower. Pretty much difficult to it's very difficult to make this kind of turbo that can spool very quickly on low RPM and can keep up all the way on high RPM. And with the help of variable valve lift and variable valve timing, with the help of those two technologies, with this kind of turbo, you can do that. If you tune your VVL profile perfectly with the regular camshaft profile, and if you tune your turbo to perfection, you can really make a decent amount of power with very low end power and torque. And that's what I did here. It wasn't really a big of a challenge, but it was possible, and I made it, and I'm really happy with the power and torque. I've never actually made this kind of low end torque and low end power with that much high end power. Never I did that before. I mean, usually if I want to make a powerful engine, low end torque will be just hideous, and all of the power will be on high RPM. And the opposite goes when you want to when you want to build an economical engine. All of the power and torque is on the low side of the RPM, and the high side is just a waste of material and waste of engine speed, really. So as you can see, 45.5 millimeter on the compressor, 30.5 millimeter on the turbine, 1.40 on the AR ratio. I like always to use very small turbine and max the AR ratios. That's this way you can have high-end power and low-end torque at the same time, and the turbo will tend to spool much quicker. 11 psi of boost. Also the boost, I'm not really sure what kind or how much boost BMW used in this engine, the original engine, so I went with 11 because it worked perfectly. +3 quality on the turbo. We have direct fuel injection, single throttle body, and the performance intake manifold. I went with performance because, well, this engine was used in a lot of M cars, a lot of M badged BMWs, and as we all know, M cars tend to be not racing loud, no, but they are much louder than regular BMWs. And yeah, so that's why I went with performance intake manifold, so I can make this engine so we can hear the induction sound of the engine. As we all know, in all BMW M engines, we always tend to hear the induction sound when you put your foot down. And yes, now this is a little weird. According to my wikimotors.com, this engine came in 3 versions: low power with 90 that can run on 91 octane fuel, medium range power that can run on 95 octane, on the top one, the highest amount of horsepower, which is this one, the 340 horsepower, runs on 98 octane fuel. That's what BMW recommend if you want to run this engine normally. So I went with 98. It was easier to go with 98, and it made a lot of difference when I was tuning the turbo. Everything just fall into its own place, which was perfect. 13.6 is the air fuel ratio, 83 is the ignition timing, a little bit advanced. I mean, it's high on the advanced on advanced side. Well, it's good. I mean, if I think in real life, no, in real life it will not go all the way to 83 or at this stage of advanced, no. But I had to go this way so I can make the correct power and torque. 7000 is the official RPM limit with +2 quality on the fuel system. Short cast single exhaust pipe with 76.2 mm on the exhaust diameter or 3-inch exhaust diameter. High flow 3-way catalytic converter, no first muffler. Second, we have a straight through second muffler with bypass valves and +10 quality. Bypass valves are like, you know the sport button that you push inside the cabin of the car, the sport exhaust button. Yes, that's the technology here, which means that this muffler at the end has like a valve in it. When you push the sport exhaust button, this valve will open and it will act like a straight through exhaust pipe with the +10 quality. Alright, so as I mentioned before, the turbo of this engine, it's not a usual turbo, it's not a regular turbo. No, this engine in real life uses a twin screw turbocharger which means that the turbine, the exhaust manifold or the turbo manifold, the turbo manifold has been designed in a special way to has at its end two runners. The first runner will flow exhaust flow out of it when the engine is running on low RPM, when the vanos and the variable valve lift profile are not working. So this way, these exhaust fumes will flow into that bend, the first bend, and it will spool the turbo very quickly to produce very low end torque and power. So you can have an economical run daily driving engine. And the second runner will open when the valves and the vanos will kick in and the variable valve lift profile will kick in, and those valves will start to open more aggressively because of the variable valve lift or the vanos technology. The exhaust will flow much higher, of course, because the engine is burning so much fuel and making so much power. You will have more exhaust flow, and it will flow from the second run or both of the runs, and this way the turbo will spool like any other big high performance turbo. So you will have low end torque when you are driving this engine slowly, very economical, very torquey, and when you put your foot down, all of the technologies will engage and you will have a regular big size turbo that can give you all the power and torque you want. Pretty much perfect. I love the technology so much, and this technology, the twin scroll turbo, I mean, it should be fitted in basically every car. Usually we see high performance car with a laggy turbos. You put your foot down and nothing happens, and then the turbo will spool and you will fly off the line, or not off the line, you will fly. But in this one, you will have the boost will be very similar to a supercharger. It's not really like a supercharger. The supercharger torque will start from like 1 RPM. It will start spooling with the engine, but the turbo with this technology, the twin screw turbo, it will get close to the idea of supercharging, which is very awesome for daily driving engines, economical engines. It's very awesome, and I really love the technology, because you will see that the vanos or variable valve lift technology with variable valve timing, both of them are working in a sequence together with the turbo to give you fuel economy, torque, power. Absolutely amazing. So alright, so this is the engine then. It's not really like the real one, because of course in the automation game we don't have the twin screw technology. It's just a regular turbocharger, but I tried really hard to make the turbo to spool very early. As you can see, the turbo will spool at like 2000 RPM, which is I think the lowest I can get this turbo to spool with. I mean, of course, if I can go with a smaller compressor, I can go a little bit lower than this, but it will not make the power and torque like the real engine. As you can see, I'm running on 95.9 octane fuel, so a little bit of fine tuning or high quality fuel system, I can run this engine normally on 95 octane fuel, and it will be much economical with 30% of fuel efficiency. But currently, because I don't want to raise the material cost and the production units and of course the engineering time, I'm gonna keep it on +2 quality. But you get the point. This engine can run on 95 or 98 octane fuel with just a little bit of fine tuning. Alright, so let's fire up this beast here. As you can see and hear, I mean, it sounds like a diesel engine, which is weird, but when you put your foot down, when you raise the RPM, when you open the throttle, I mean, a whole lot of things will be going on. Ready, steady, and absolute perfection. I really enjoy making inline 6 engines because these engines are very balanced, very smooth, and of course with turbocharging you can push them to really big numbers when it comes to horsepower, torque, fuel economy. As you can see, we are making 340 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque, very good horsepower and torque, and we are making 28.8% of fuel economy. So the engine is really economical. It's really good. It's powerful, it's torquey, it's smooth, it's very responsive. As you can see, with a single throttle body, the throttle response is 63.8, which is amazing. And the noise, it's not quiet. No, this is not a limousine engine or Rolls-Royce engine. No, it's a high performance engine, or not a high performance, a performance engine. So 37 means the engine is quiet at low RPM with a sporty, noisy exhaust system when it comes on high RPM. That's very awesome. So emissions are very low, the engine is clean. As I mentioned before, fuel economy and octane can be more refined with more refined tuning. Let's see, service cost is low, the engine is very reliable, nearly 80 points, which is like a bulletproof engine. And let's see, the weight is, the engine is lightweight, it's made from aluminium, the head is made from aluminium, the internals are forged, you have direct fuel injection, single exhaust pipe only. All of this makes the engine a little bit lighter than usual, and it's perfect. I really like this engine. But before we close the video, let me tell you a little thing. If you are planning on getting this amazing engine, like getting it maybe into a retrofitted, or maybe get it and bolt it in your own car, in your current car, you have to keep in mind that this engine has a little bit of problems. According to myweeklymotors.com, the engine problems and drawbacks are: 1. High level of oil consumption in the N55. Such a problem is mainly caused by crankcase, vent valve, the PCV valves. The PCV valve, check it first of all before you purchase the engine. Second problem is misfire. Such a malfunction is likely to result in carbonized hydraulic lifters. You need to check the lifters if they are carbonized or not. Check them and use high quality engine oil. Never use a low quality or cheap engine oil in this one, because you will break the engine. You will not be doing it any favor. If you don't have the money to replace the oil for it, I suggest keep the car parked and keep the engine off until you have some money to replace the oil. Number 3, engine vibration. It can result in fact that fuel injectors are out of orders. You need to check that the fuel injectors are where are they? Here we go. The fuel injectors are running perfectly. You need to check the order of them. You need to check the ECU if the ECU is triggering them at the same time, not at the same time, at their correct order or not, or if you have a broken injector, it will cause the vibration problem. And let's see, in addition to problem, high pressure fuel pump, the fuel pump it breaks always. It says here, like a lot of car enthusiasts or BMW enthusiasts are suggesting that you should upgrade the fuel pump to an aftermarket one, so you can solve the braking problem for the original pump. Let's see what else. Apart from what are those problems, everything is perfect. It has as you can see here, and as I'm reading right now, it says here on my wikimotors.com, it has high level of reliability. It is rather powerful with long lifespan. At the same time, it's perfect for tuning. Purchasing of an N55 will certainly turn out to be a good idea. So these 3 points or 4 points: the pump, the vibrations, and of course the high level of fuel consumption and the misfire, well, all of these can be solved and can be fixed really easily with aftermarket parts, and you will have a bulletproof engine that can run years and years and years if you can take care of it with high grade engine oil and good service and good maintenance. So thank you so much guys for watching. I hope that you really enjoyed the video. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, get subscribed if you are new to the channel, and share the video if you want to share it. And of course, if you want to request a custom engine or a close replica of a current engine or a custom car, add my Snapchat. It's Lord Bas94, Lord BAS94, so I can add you on the channel group on Snapchat, so you can chat with all of the fans, or request a video over there, or join a discussion of some kind of car enthusiast discussion. And I just got an Instagram post. That's awesome. Alright, so also if you want to add my Instagram, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's LordBas94, same as my Snapchat username. Or if you want to support the channel, you can go to my Patreon page. You can support the channel over there, or you can request your video. You can put your request on the Patreon channel. I'm gonna be making it very soon, hopefully. So thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you very soon, and keep watching my videos, keep hitting that like button, and keep getting subscribed, and I'm gonna see you with more amazing videos like this one, and even more amazing than this one. And goodbye for now, my friends.